so nice to see you again. And
You as well.
welcome to St. Pete. Thank you so much. How are the babies doing?
The babies are good. They're here. They're growing. Getting older by the second, obviously, and it's hard to keep up. But they're here this weekend, first race of the year. I know my oldest in particular was excited to get back to the races, and so we're looking forward to having a great year.
Does she want to race? Does she likes? Yes?
It's hard to say at this stage, you know. I mean, I think that the kids, they enjoy going to the races and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, who knows if they're going to end up racing now.
In your family, I mean, I would say yes, they will race.
Yeah, there's a lot. There is, but I mean, it's so different, you know. So different than most any other sport, and so for kids to get interested and into it, obviously you need to have a family connection, sort of like we do. But at the same time, you know, they're so young; it's going to take a while to understand, you know, what they want to do, what their future may be. So we'll see.
Would you like to, or would you like?
Well, I think, look, in part I would say yes, but in part there's so much pressure in this sport.
Yes, it's the way I feel. This is the way I ask you.
Yeah, there's so much pressure, and for my kids in particular, there's so much pressure involved for them that I don't know. You know, I'm not sure it would be the best thing, but we'll see.
Well, I hope they will follow them hard, you know, and you guys fantastic, you and your wife and all together as a family, so I think they will do great wherever they will choose.
I hope so.
Yes?
I hope so. That's the goal. I mean, for me, same thing for me when I was growing up, you know, is just you need to do what pleases you and what energizes you and what you feel passionate about and what motivates you to get up and, you know, and push every day to be at your best and to try your hardest and to be inspired by it, and so we'll see what they choose.
And this is the right approach, you know? This
I hope
is the
so.
right approach, yes. Because you cannot put the pressure on the kids.
For sure. Particularly, you know, nowadays I think it's quite hard it's got to be one of the hardest times ever to be a parent, and you know what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, you know, how you approach the kids.
How? Why do you
Well, I just feel like culturally, you know, there's been a big cultural shift, and you know, the way that my mom and dad may have parented me is maybe not acceptable in today's eyes, and so, you know, I mean, we look back at the ways of parenting of old is very different, but you know, for our kids, I think, you know, we have high expectations, we have high hopes for them. We hope that they can grow up to be very successful in whatever, as I said, whatever they so choose to do. You know, we'll let them follow their hearts, and then our job is to be there to inspire them and give them the tools necessary to be successful, which in many ways is just like what I had with my dad.
If I may ask, what role gods play in your family?
Well, you know, I think that we as a family, I think in particular the Force side of the family is, you know, everybody's been raised Catholic upbringing, and you know, our daughter goes to a Christian school now actually, and so it's been fun to see her evolution in faith, and you know, for kids it's so young and so early, but I don't think outwardly we are sort of overly religious or anything, but inwardly, you know, I think it's something that we definitely are motivated and driven by.
You know, I'm so happy that you can talk about it. I'm from Europe, you know, it's no problem there. You talk about God every single day. It's a little different in America. It seems to me like wherever I go, people seem to talk more about money, sports, and other things, but it's a nation under God. So I was thinking, why not talk about God?
I think there's a cultural shift though that's happening right now back in that manner, that people are more open to, you know, speak about it, and you know, those ways of life are becoming more prevalent in our government and everything else. So who knows? But yeah, I mean, I think it's becoming more open nowadays.
And coming here in St. Pete to Firestone Grand Prix of St. Pete, it's obviously amazing to be here again. You have a new team. You have two young boys, yes. and how this team came together. What are the insights?
Well, I think, I mean, it's a couple of young guys with us. Obviously, I think Louis, who has joined us as the Indy Next champion, his record and his success speaks for itself.
I was reading about him. Wow.
Yeah, and our conversation with him really began in the middle of last year, maybe, I don't know, Portlandish, something like that, towards the tail end. And so it was a good opportunity to bring him in. We knew we needed to replace Christian, obviously with Pietro moving on as well. So that was good. And then, Devlin we've talked to for the last few years, and so it just finally all the pieces of the puzzle, came together with his with the sponsorship and everything else that it took to get him in here. And I think, Dev has proven that he's got quite a lot of speed. I think people look at him and don't necessarily think that right off the bat. But if you look at when he was at Andretti, there was a lot of races where he was extremely competitive. And what we hope to do is take some of that natural speed that he's got and help develop him into a rounded driver that can go and run up front on Sundays. So big first weekend for him. Like I said, hopefully we can help a lot. I've got a lot of experience and give my input and see what we can do.
I think you guys will do great, your team is great. And you know what I realized? I check up about everyone. Everyone has like 3 guys. In each team has 3 guys, and at least one is new. It changed dramatically. 2025 is going to be a rough time to compete, it seems to. How do you see?
There's a lot of change right now, but there's going to be more here in the near future too. I think that there's a lot of drivers that, from an age perspective, are going to start to phase out here relatively soon.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 3 or 4 years.
And the cars are running like a wind.
I hope so. I mean, I hope
No
we have no
there,
issue.
yes.
Yeah, there's no real changes on the car side of it. I mean, obviously we have the hybrid here this year, which we did not last year for this race.
Yes.
We started to run the hybrid at Mid-Ohio on last year, so it was around. But this year is the first time we'll run it at St. Pete, but I don't expect any major issues.
Thank you for talking.
Yeah, of course. Thank